Yeah, you were actually working as a production assistant on 1973's The Seven Ups, starring
Yes.
Roy Scheider. On that set, you met someone who would forever change your life. Who was that
Oh,
person?
Joe Spinell. Yeah.
So much has been said about Joe, and he had quite a career and just quite a life. I'm sure you've been asked about working with him countless times over the years, but what was Joe Spinell like as a friend?
Joe was a guy who, and I said, and we all said this at his funeral. So we all he was a guy we loved. We loved him dearly, but there were times we wanted to kill him. and that was Joe. He was your best friend, but there were times he could do stuff to infuriate you.
Like what? Like what?
Oh God. Well, I remember one time, and it was probably something he probably did to me many times. Across from my apartment, there was a phone booth. We didn't have cell phones, and he would call me up like at 7 a.m. and say, "Oh, Bill, you want to have breakfast?" Because he'd been out partying all night, and he'd say, "You want to have breakfast?" I go, "Sure, Joe." He'd come over, and I'd say, "Okay, wait." This one time, I said, "Wait in the living room," and while I take a shower, I get in the shower, come out of the shower, and there he is on my kitchen table, freebasing coke with this flamethrower and this coke pipe. And I'm going, God almighty, Joe, what are you doing? You're driving me crazy with this stuff. And, that was Joe. And then I can't tell you how many times he would come to the office and he'd be when he came to New York City, he would often dress in a suit and tie. I don't understand why, but he would dress up. He would have the suit on, the tie. He'd just taken a shower. He'd stop at the office like 5 p.m. And he'd say, "Guys, I've given up drugs. I've given up drinking. I've given that all up." And we would tell, he says, "What's going on?" And we say, "Well, we just sold Maniac to Australia." "Oh, that's fantastic. Let's have a drink." And he'd go in the freezer, pull out the bottle of vodka and start, making, pouring shots.
and start celebrating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because it was celebratory. It wasn't like drinking. It was celebratory.
There's a fine line there.
Yeah, that was Joe's fine line. Look, he'd drive you crazy. Look, there was a day he didn't show up on the set of Vigilante. And we had to send a posse out to find him. And thank God, our mutual friend, Frank Pesh, had this incredible memory. And Joe had been taken home by some girl at a bar that Frank and Joe were at. And for whatever reason, Frank remembered where this girl lived. And, Andy Garoni, my co-producer, and Frank, they had to go to the apartment. Joe was there. He had been doing drugs all night. He was so fucked up. We're shooting the scene. I'm using a double so I can keep shooting. And finally, they clean him up. They put him in his wardrobe. And he arrives on the set. And it happens to be a day where his mother was one of the extras in the courtroom. And his mother gets up and starts yelling at Joe in front of the whole cast and crew and everything. You didn't show up. Andy and Billy were looking for you. This is not right. You owe an apology to everybody. And he's going, "Ma, please, Ma, I got a headache. Don't do this to me." But then, as I'm ready to want to kill him, we're shooting the scene with him and Carol Lindley. And Joe comes over to me. He does like one of these things. "Come over here." And we talk. He goes, "Listen." He goes, "How about Carol Lindley and I, when we were in law school, we were lovers. And now we're in opposite sides. I'm a defense attorney. She's a prosecutor. But we still have a magic between us. And we could shoot a scene maybe where we're making love on the beach. And, he was like, that, and he's coming up with this story that he wants me to shoot some other scenes with him and Carol Lindley making love. And, and so when you watch the scene, look at Joe and know that that's what he was thinking about when he looks over at her.
He definitely had a larger than life kind of personality, and he seemed like a big lovable guy with some demons, but he loved his mother.
He loved his mother like no one did. He loved his mother. Unbelievable, the devotion he had for his mother. And if you watch, I imagine many of your viewers have the Maniac Blu-ray. We have on there the Joe Spinell story, which really tells in 1 hour, it really gives you an idea of what Joe was like from his friends.
That's a great documentary, by the way. Yeah,
it really is a great documentary. Yeah. I didn't make it. It was made by David Gregory. But he did a fantastic job in interviewing the people, and really, you get a flavor for Joe.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun. On the new Maniac 4K, there's a extra, which is Joe Spinell on 42nd Street. And it's hilarious. He's walking down Broadway, and he's making comments about things. It's really funny.
Oh, that's awesome. There's actually a clip of Joe on YouTube. You can find it. Joe Spinell, somebody else, and Steven Spielberg. And they're watching the Oscar announcements.
That's the guy I was.
Frank, that's right. Yeah. And they're watching the Oscar nomination announcements. And they're like, how can you not nominate Steve? Like Joe Spinell's, why can't you?
Who do you think made Jaws? The shark?
But that's a great clip on YouTube. I would definitely.
But he really saved Spielberg, because Spielberg was humiliated being the only director of a Oscar-nominated Best Picture not to be nominated as its director. Instead of, I think it was Federico Fellini or something, got nominated. And so Joe and Frank, were really kind of saving Spielberg, because there was the news crew there. They were there to capture Spielberg's reaction. And he was dumbfounded, expecting to be nominated.
Yeah.
That Frank and Joe were asked by Spielberg to come to Martha's Vineyard to play the two fishermen on the dock.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
When the dock collapses and the one guy says, come on, keep swimming, That was supposed to be Frank and Joe. And both guys had gone out partying or something, and they didn't feel like driving up to Martha's Vineyard. And they said, what is it, some B movie or something? But that was for them. That was written for them to play.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Two idiots that didn't go up there. They could have been in a film, a classic movie.
They could have been in Jaws. But Joe was, of course, he was in The Godfather, but he was there. He had a small role in The Godfather, but he was there every day. So they counted him, and he was getting like these huge paychecks for The Godfather, like residuals and stuff. It's just, yeah.
Oh, I took Joe to the bank a couple of times. He had residual checks like close to $20,000 on The Godfather. Well, here was the thing: is in the Screen Actors Guild, they have a flat rate that you can pay actors who are there for the whole movie. So everybody except for Marlon Brando, all the stars, were all paid this, what they call Schedule F, which was a flat rate. And Joe was brought on as a day player. And as a day player, you get paid more money on a per day basis than someone who's getting this flat rate. So, back then they didn't have computers. So Francis Coppola wanted Joe to stay on and help him with casting, help him with this, and so Joe was on the set, and they kept signing him in as a day player until somebody at Paramount caught it. But by that point, he had been working for several weeks as a day player and making all this money. So when they go to calculate the residuals, he was like one of the highest paid residuals on The Godfather. It still is.
Yeah. Incredible. Yeah.
Incredible.
A huge shout out to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and join me for exclusive live streams, get early access to videos, and have a say in what movies I review on my channel. Become a channel member and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Links are in the description. Maniac is an iconic piece of cinema for horror fans like me. It's holy ground. True or false? The budget for Maniac was a mere $48,000.
Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
It's partially true. We shot the movie